So in previous session, we have seen that imperative language based on set of instructions executed in sequence, different types of imperative programming languages, then by imperative language. We also introduced you with what are data objects and how data are represented in application and a program, values and their types. And we started with data types. That is, we have defined what is a variable and how that variable is used. Let me explain. So what is data object? Data object is memory allocated to a variable, and variable is nothing but abstraction of memory location. So when we allocate memory to a variable and we assign the value, we can say that the variable is bounded variable. Bound variable means a variable which has allocated memory as well as value. And we have seen the term binding. Binding is association between attribute and the entity or operation with the symbol. And we have seen the binding time. It is the time at which binding takes place. Different binding times, language design time, implementation time, compile time, linking and loading. We have also discussed about static and dynamic binding, which is called early or late binding. These are the examples of different binding times. Then we have defined what is variable. Variable declaration can be explicit or implicit. So explicit means when we write int a, or when we provide a type, user or programmer provide a type for variable, it is called explicit declaration. And when the type is decided by compiler itself, depending upon the where the variable is defined and how it is defined, that is called implicit. For example, in case of Python, we assign value to a variable and compiler automatically assign type to it. So that is implicit declaration. In C, C++, Java, we use explicit declaration. So different languages like Perl if variable name starts with a dollar, it is a scalar variable. If it is start with @, it is array variable. In case of Fortran language, variables starting with capital I to capital N, they are assumed to be of type integer. Advantage of implicit declaration is writability, convenience to the user. As a programmer, I'm not able to remember where and what is the data type of that variable and where it is declared. As soon as I need the variable, I assign it the value and use it. So it gives a convenience and writability. The problem is reliability. The variable may get overridden. Instead of initially, suppose that is a very important variable like number of students in a class, you already defined it as integer, it has value 10. And if you redefine n to another type, so it may create a confusion and it will decrease the reliability of your code. Then we talked about binding and lifetime. Storage binding means when variable is defined, memory is allocated to it. So that memory which is allocated is from RAM, or it is called primary memory. So memory allocation and deallocation is either done by a compiler or a programmer at runtime. And we have seen there are different types of memories: static memory, stack memory and heap memory. Static is compile time memory. Stack and heap is runtime. It is also called dynamic runtime memory. Stack is used by your program for storing inbuilt variables, procedure activation. We are going to see in the next topic. So when program is executing, it requires some memory for storing intermediate results or call a function or variables of that function. So stack memory is used, and heap memory is explicitly or implicitly used by a programmer dynamically to allocate and deallocate it. And what is a lifetime? We have seen the definition of lifetime. Lifetime of a variable is time during which it is bounded to a particular memory cell. Till at which this variable is bounded with the memory, it is called variable is live, or it is not dead. The lifetime of variable till which it is bounded to the memory location. Then we talked about static variables, then stack dynamic variables, variable, constant, literal, and persistent data type. So variable, which is, what is a variable? A value which is assigned to a variable can modified at the runtime. User may change the value. Every assignment statement to that variable will change the value. It covers the nature of names and special words in a programming language. Attributes of variable concept of binding and binding type. It is mainly used for type checking, strongly typing and type compatibility rules that we are going to discuss here. We also talked about case sensitivity. What are the advantages and disadvantages of having the language case sensitive? C, C++, Java, these are case sensitive languages, and we talked about HTML, then basic or script assembly languages are case insensitive. You can write a program in any case. About special words, some languages has reserved words or special words which are known as keywords, which cannot be used as variable name or identifier in your code. For example, in C, C++, Java, I cannot use main as my class name or function name, small main, because it is a reserved word. But there are some languages which didn't have a reserved word. So you can use a keyword or reserved word as a variable name, but it results into poor readability, but advantage is flexibility. In previous session, we have seen the example of if, else, then else, etc. Now let's start with where we have left. So variable, we have to talk about variable. Variable is abstraction of memory cell. Means when you declare a variable, say int a, memory is allocated 2 bytes gets allocated, and instead of referring to that particular memory location, you refer to a variable name. Because we are storing values in a memory location, not in the variable. But as for a programmer, it is easy to deal with variable instead of memory locations. That's why variable are nothing but, you can say that, abstraction of memory cell. Variable can be categorized as 6 tuple attributes. These are the attributes of variable. Variable should have name. For example, any valid identifier can be a name. For example, integer, roll number, or float percentage, or string name. So that percentage, roll number, name, these are the variables, or it is called name of a variable. Address is memory location or locations which are allocated to that particular variable. Say if it is integer, in C language we assign 2 bytes of memory, means compiler assigns. In case of float, 4 bytes gets assigned, etc. So memory location allocated for that variable. Value, the value that you are going to store at that particular moment, as value is going to change at programming point of view. In C language, if you declare a variable without initialization, it will take its garbage value. So what is garbage value? When compiler assigns a memory location, so it may already have some value, previously allocated some value. So that is a garbage value. But in Java, we whenever we assign or create a variable, it is allocated with default value. Is it 0 in case of integer, null in case of pointers or references, etc. Type. Type, when we declare a variable with its type, range of possible values. For example, in case of integer, minus 32k to plus 32k, or if it is unsigned integer, 0 to 64k, so you cannot go beyond 64k as it specifies range. वैशाली मैम नॉइज येतं. Lifetime of a variable, where variable is accessible, where variable is live. We have seen that lifetime is nothing but the name and address till which this variable is allocated to this memory location is called lifetime. And scope is where in a program it is accessible. So there is a difference between lifetime and scope. Lifetime is when the variable is accessible, and scope is where in a program, means in a actual program I have defined variable in for loop and I want to access it outside the for loop. It is not accessible because scope of that variable is limited to that particular for loop. Or if I define a variable in method add and I want to access that variable in main method, it is not accessible because the scope is only within that function. So you know the what is the scope? Local scope, global scope, non-local scope. We are going to discuss about scope in the next slides. There is a difference between lifetime and scope. So these are six attributes, variable attributes or characteristics of a variable. Can we have variable without a name? There are some languages which use a variable without a name. There are some languages, try to find out. Not all variables have them. Address, the memory address with which it is associated. Variable may have different addresses at different times during execution. So whenever you define a variable with another data type, that memory location can change. A variable may have different addresses at different places in a program. So the example of this is, if I have a method, say add from main, I'm calling a method add, and in method add, I have variable integer a. So whenever I call method add, memory should be allocated to variable a. And that memory will be allocated whenever I call add method, then memory gets allocated. It may not allocate the same memory at all the time. Let me check whether I am able to show you. Python tutor is visible?
Yes,
Yes.
ma'am.
So in main, I'm just going to the previous here. For main, I haven't defined any variable. And as soon as I start, add method is called, control is transferred to add, variables are allocated memory, A, B, and C. Value of A is 10, value of B is 20, C is 30, and you will print that value and will come out in main. Again, these variables, the memory allocated for A, B, C will be deleted from the stack. It is deallocated. If you call this function again, if you print something in between or some different code here, and if you call this method again, will it allocate the same memory location for A, B, C that was allocated in previous call? Printf. you're printing high, and again method add is called. Now this time when variables a, b and c are defined, this memory allocated for a, b, c is from stack memory, and it may allocate new different memory locations for these variables. So this is whenever you call a method, memory will be allocated for these local variables. So this is called, wait a minute. This is called a variable may have different addresses at different times during execution. So depending upon how many times you're calling that method, every time memory allocated for that particular variable will change. A variable may have different addresses at different places in a program. Now here, in this code, variables are defined here, A, B, C. So at this line number 10, 11, 12 and 13, where you are using these variables, it will access these memory locations, which are allocated at that program point of view. Suppose here in main, which value of A it will print after first add? A is 30 or 100? Here value of A is 100. Then we are calling method add. In add method, it is int 10. It is 20, 30. You will add a C plus B. You are displaying value of C. So value of A is 10 or 100 here?
100.
I can define a float. Okay, let it be integer only. So here in main, memory is allocated for A, integer, value is 100. When you call a method A, add, it has another location. This location of A and this location, or memory location of A will be different. Note that. And these locations are only, or this variable A, its scope is only in function add. And scope of this A is only in method main. So it will take value 10, 20, 30. And when you return from this function, variable A, B, C, memory allocated for A, B, C will be deallocated. You'll come back and variable A is still 100. It will be printed and you'll call add method again with new numbers. So here in this program at line number 2, int A is equal to 100. This is different memory location. At line number 11, int A is equal to 10 will be at different memory location. So a variable may have different addresses at different places in a program. So if you define variable with different data type or at different scope, its location will change. Remember, these two things are different. A variable may have different addresses at different times of execution. It depends upon number of times you call that method. If you are calling that method from a for loop, number of times depending upon the user, how many times you want to call that method. Or suppose it is a recursion, and the number of times you call the function itself depends upon what value you pass to that recursion. So you understood what is the difference between variable may have different addresses at different time of execution and different places in a program. If two or more variable names can be used to access same memory location, they are called aliases. We talked about aliases in Java. When we declare a object without allocating a memory and we allocate address of another object to this object, both the objects are pointing to the same memory location. So they are called alias. If we have two different variables which are pointing to the same memory location, then they are called alias of each other. Aliases are harmful to readability because when we increment or decrement or modify one variable, it will affect the other variable value of other variable. So these are harmful to readability. because as a programmer, I can see that I'm incrementing A. Suppose A and B, both the variables are pointing to the same memory location. Value of A is 100. If I say A plus plus and I printed B, so I am expecting B should print 100, but it is printing 101 because A and B are pointing to same memory location. Whatever operations I perform on A, automatically those updations are done for B also. Sometimes, but they are useful under some circumstances or certain circumstances whenever we pass values by reference. So values by reference are nothing but allies of each other. So in how it is created, we use pointers, reference variables. In case of Pascal, variant records are there. In C, C++, unions are there. We are going to learn this in next slides. Or in Java, we have seen how to create allies. Variable type and the value. Type of a variable is mainly used to determine range of values of variable and set of operations that you can perform defined for the values of that data type. So when we say int a, we know that range of the values is minus 32k to plus 32k. When we define a byte, you know that it is 0 to 255, right? In case of Java, we have seen that is the range of values the variable can go for, and set of operations that you can perform on those values. In the case of floating point, also determines precision, whether it is single precision or double precision. Value, the contents of location with which the variable is associated. So we know that what is a variable? Variable is abstraction to the location or address, memory location. And the contents of memory location means values that we assign to the particular variable. Abstract memory cell, it is the physical cell or collection of cells associated with a variable. So when we say int a, only one cell is allocated to variable a. But if it is an array, int a of 5, so we allocate 5 integers location, or 5 into 2, 10 bytes of memory to variable a. So it is abstraction to the memory cell. It may denote one particular cell or collection of cells. Any queries till now about the variable?
No, ma'am.
So here expression is a is equal to a plus 1. Suppose value of a is say 15. So when you define integer a equal to 15, memory is allocated to a 2 bytes, say x10, and its value is 15. This is the name of variable a, it's a location, and it is the value. So now in this expression a is equal to a plus 1, tell me what is the difference between this a and this a. This is assignment operator. On right hand side of a, on left hand side of a. Is it same?
No, ma'am.
No.
What is the difference between this and this one? So what exactly you want to do here? A plus 1. Which part will be evaluated first? Right hand side or left hand side?
Right answer.
Right
Right
hand
hand side.
Right hand side. So a plus 1 will be evaluated first. So this a is denoting what? Value or location? What do you want to do here?
Value.
So you want to access value of a, add it with 1. Okay. So here this a is referring to the value. You want, that is 15 plus 1, 16. Now you have result 16 with you, which is stored in some, say, temporary variable by a compiler, and you want to store this 16 where at this location XX10. So after assignment, you want this value should be loaded here, and A is nothing but it is denoting memory location. So this A, left hand side A denotes memory location. You want to load value of 16 at this memory location. So here, this 15 will be replaced by 16 after execution of this instruction. A plus 1. So right hand side of assignment operator, the same variable is denoting value, and left hand side of the operator is denoting its location. So it is called R value and L value. R is right hand side and L is left hand side value. Right hand side value represents value and left hand side value represents location of variable. So the one on left of the assignment refer to the location of a variable whose name is A. This one. And a right hand side of the assignment refers to the value of a variable whose name is A. So we have seen attributes of variable. Variable has name, variable has location, variable has type, scope, lifetime, and value. So this value, our right side will be, represent value and left side will represent location. So if you try to write something like this, is it allowed in C language? C is equal to A plus B.
No, ma'am.
You'll get an error. What is this error? Can you see? L value required as left operand of a assignment. So assignment statement left hand side should be always L value, that is location. You cannot write any expression on left hand side. You can have single value or expression on right hand side, but left hand side should be a location, not the expression. It should point to some location. This is called L value. L stands for location or left hand side of assignment operator. I hope it is clear what is L value and R value. L value is address and R value is its value. It's a very simple thing, but you should know what that variable is representing in this assignment expression. Now let's start with data types. You know that every language defines it has its own basic data types, or which are known as built-in data types or primitive data types. And when we study data types of any language, we should have to know what are the attributes of specification, then values, the range of values, and operations supported by that particular data type. These are called basic elements of specification. And for implementation purpose, we should know what is the storage representation, how that particular variable defined as that particular data type is stored in memory, and how these operations are defined, manner in which operations are defined. So this is the big picture. What we can see, different data types are classified like this. Built-in or primary data types, you can see here, integer, real or float. Some languages use real keyword. C++, Java, we use float keyword. Char, Boolean, void, pointer. So these are called elementary data types or primitive data types or built-in data types. These are 6 built-in data types: integer, real, character, Boolean, void, and pointer. Then derived from these basic data types: array, enum, and subrange. Then user-defined data type, which are also called structured data type or data structures, which are structure or record, and union or variant record. Abstract data type, you are familiar with the class, and other data types like files, sets, etc. So remember this big picture, because we are going to learn each and every data type in detail in next slides. So built-in or primary data types which are provided by programming language. So these are numeric data types and alphanumeric data types. Numeric data types are found in almost all programming languages, commonly two types, integer and float or real. In C, we have int, then signed integer, unsigned integer, long integer, and short integer. And in Java, we have byte, short, int, and long numerical data type. For floating point in C, we have float and double. And similarly in Java, we have float and double. So, every language provides numeric data types. We are talking about C in these slides. So specification, it is how you can write an integer variable. It is represented using numerical value 0 to 9. Sign is optional. If you give sign, negative sign, the number is negative. If sign is not there, or it is positive. By default, whenever you declare a variable, it is positive. When you create a value, say 123, and sign is missing, it is considered as positive. In C language, we have 4 specification: integer, short, long, and unsigned. Range is 2 bytes. So 2 bytes means 2 raised to 16. And it goes to 0 to 64K. Highest value 65535 for unsigned integer. And if you are using signed integer, then it is from minus 32K to plus 32K. The value integer variable can take. Operations you can perform on integer variables are arithmetic operation like int a comma b. We have just seen c is equal to a plus b. So all type of arithmetic operation: addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, mod, etc. Relational operations. What are relational operations? 6 relog or relational operations: less than, greater than, less than equal to, greater than equal to, and not equal to. So you can do all relational operations on integer variables. Assignment operation, bitwise operations. Bitwise means bitwise and, or, nor, not, XOR, etc. Implementation is integer 1 bit, means if we are having 8 bits. So out of 8 bit, 1 bit can be reserved for sign, and rest of the 7 bits where we can store integer value. Next data type is float, or it is also called real, floating point. There are 2 ways to represent it. One is decimal point representation, that is normal 3.14 or 14.67, etc. Decimal point is at the center. And exponential form, which is scientific notation. Have you heard about exponential form? 10 raised to. You have to convert that decimal, suppose it is 3.14. So 314 into 10 raised to what? Minus 1, minus 2, etc. So that you can represent in mantissa and exponent form. It is called exponential form or scientific notation. Its representation in decimal point as sign plus, it can be positive sign, negative sign, or sign can absent. This is null. So this part is optional. Then number, any value between 0 to 9. It can be a star means closure, 0 closure means this value can be absent. You can define a number as 0.34. So first part before decimal point can be absent or null. But this is positive closure. Plus means at least one number should be there after decimal point. So it can be 0.01 or 0.123, etc. This is it is called regular expression. No need to display this. You can remember there are different types of decimal point notations, and this is how compiler checks whether it is in proper format or not. Operations can be conditional operation and arithmetic operation. You cannot perform less than, greater than relational operations or bitwise operations on floating point number. Implementation, how it is implemented by the hardware, how the floating point number is stored on a memory. It can be in single precision format and double precision format. Now you're going to learn about single precision and double precision in your DSCO subject, how number system or numbers are stored on a machine. Next data type is Boolean. Boolean, you have seen Boolean is used in Java, but in C language we didn't have Boolean as a separate data type. Integer is considered as Boolean in C. But in the languages like Pascal, Ada, Java, there is a special type called Boolean. It can take two values, true and false. Only one bit is allocated for Boolean. Bit one can be for true, or zero can be false generally. Operations that are performed on Boolean are bitwise operations, and or, not, XOR, etc. Implementation is single bit storage, and there are two ways for representation. Some languages may use one for false. Generally, one is used for true. I haven't seen any language which takes zero for true, but it can be one of the implementation. Next data type is character. Any queries in int, float, or boolean data type? What you have to remember is specification, operation, and implementation. How it is specified, which operations are allowed on that data type, and how it is implemented by the memory. Next is character data type. Its specification depend upon the character set. Character set depends upon the language and hardware. So we have seen when we design a language, at language design time, which character is used for which operation is decided. For example, star should be used for multiplication, or mod is used for, or slash is used for division, like this. And this character set, there are different types of character sets in various languages that support. For example, C++ supports ASCII character set, American Standard for Coding Information Interchange, and Java uses Unicode character set. Operations which are specified or can be performed on character are relational operations, that is less than, greater than, not equal to, etc. Assignment, and we can check value of a character. Means we can check what is the ASCII value of a character. If you define integer C and character, and if you print its value, character C, it will print its ASCII value. Let me show you. So here, if I defined a char C is equal to capital A, and if I print it, instead of %C, if I use %D, so it will print ASCII value of capital A, that is 65. So it is stored as character A. But when we want to print C, it will print 65. So 65 is nothing but ASCII value of A. And here, if I print %C, it will print capital A. So you can access its integer value or ASCII value. You can, if you do C is equal to C plus 1, so I am performing arithmetic operation on character variable. And now I am printing it in a character form. What it will print, whether it will print 65 or what. Just comment this part. What it will print, this one, this printf statement, line number 8. I have created a character variable C, which I have allocated capital A. When I'm printing C is %DC, it was printing 65, which is ASCII value of capital A. Now I am adding C plus 1, and I'm printing with %C. So whether it will print capital A or 65 or any other thing. Just see what it prints. What is value of capital C? Small c is capital A that we have just allocated here, and it will print that it is printing C is 65. Now C is C plus 1. So can you see character is changed here, instead of A now it is B, because 66 ASCII value is for capital B. Internally it maps that 66, we added C is equal to C plus 1. So it has incremented 65 to 66, and 66 is mapping with character B. So character capital B is stored at that location, which is represented by small c. When you print %C, it will print character B. Okay. You can check value of a character, you can use assignment operator, you can use relational operator. Implementation of character is 1 byte per char in C. In Java, it is 2 bytes per char. If you define unsigned character, it will take 0 to 256 values. Otherwise, it will take -127 to +126. With ASCII character set starts from 0 to 256. 255 actually. It is 0 to 255. Total 256 values. So rest of the things we'll see in the next lecture. Any queries?